Its negotiating teams from the United States and Iran could return to Islamabad as early as this week in a renewed push for peace talks following the recent stalemate in Islamabad. According to multiple sources, both sides are considering another round of discussions just days after high-level negotiation ended without a breakthrough in the Pakistani capital. The previous talks, described as the most significant engagement between Washington and Tehran since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, failed to produce a concrete agreement despite marathon discussions. However, officials say that the door for diplomacy remains open for now, with mediators continuing efforts to bring both sides back to the table. Sources indicate that while key differences remain unresolved, there is still willingness on both sides to avoid further escalation and continue through dialogue. If confirmed, the return to Islamabad could mark a crucial next step in attempts to stabilize the region and revive negotiations between the two long-term adversaries. Well, a major development coming in after the last talks in Islamabad yielded no result. Second round of talks are likely to take place in Islamabad once again. According to sources, the new fresh round of talks could take place in Islamabad as early as this week, as both teams from US and Iran could reach Islamabad for the second round of negotiations. This comes after the last talk in Islamabad yielded no result and ended in a deadlock. After the talks failed, US Vice President J.D. Vance although said that they did make some progress and said that now the ball is in Tehran's court. Both sides, US and Iran, refusing to bow down. They are standing firm with their demands in the deal. US demands Iran to withdraw its nuclear program. Meanwhile, Iran maintains that the country has its right to enrich uranium. Over the deadlock, the talks in Pakistan yielded no result. But there is still hope for mediation and diplomacy, as sources tell us that the delegations from US and Iran are likely to visit Islamabad as soon as this week for second round of talks. Donald Trump, meanwhile, has announced a naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, further disrupting the global energy crisis. As the blockade in Strait of Hormuz by the US begins, there is still hope that the conflict would be resolved through diplomacy and dialogue. And Pakistan once again is emerging as a mediator between the second round of US-Iran talks, even after the last talks in Islamabad failed without any agreement between the both sides. J.D. Vance, who led the US delegation, described that they did make some progress in the talks in Islamabad, although he said that US has made that their red lines clear to Iran and said that they will not back down with these conditions. On the other side, Iran maintains that it has the right to enrich uranium and possess nuclear facilities. After deadlock in the first round of talks in Islamabad, sources now tell us that second round of talks is also now on the cards, with US and Iranian delegations likely to reach Islamabad this week.